Before we get into your spread today, allow me to vaguely provide you with some background information as to what it means when a planet is retrograde. Generally speaking, when a planet is retrograde, it means that the planet is orbiting much slower than usual and, from our perspective, appears to be traveling backwards. The best example that can further explain this is, say for instance you are traveling on the freeway. Your car and the vehicle in the lane beside you are traveling at the exact same speed. Then you decide to slightly increase your speed. It will then appear to you as though the vehicle next to you was moving backwards. The vehicle is not actually moving backwards, it simply appears that it is from your current perspective. So, in essence, Pluto is basically orbiting at a much slower speed or pace than usual. So Pluto retrograde in general entails that we may have difficulty transforming our lives due to fear of letting go. You will probably have difficulty expressing your personal power and influence. A fear of being controlled or of taking control can stem from past life and or childhood experiences involving abuse of power or being overly controlled. The severity as to how this will affect you will be shown through aspects to your Pluto in your natal chart. Regardless if your natal Pluto is retrograde or not, you will experience some of Pluto's energy. Your particular experience may not be felt as strongly as others. But this particular Pluto retrograde in April of 2017 starts on April 20th, 19 degrees in Capricorn, and ends on September 28th, 16 degrees in Capricorn, which brings opportunities for progress, but a number of big obstacles will have to be overcome to get there. An internal investigation is needed to root out a barrier to progress and eliminate it. Jupiter, also retrograde, adds one more degree of difficulty. Some destructive energy is hindering a necessary Plutonic transformation. This particular involvement of Jupiter suggests that this problem relates to greed, excess, faith, or ideology. What makes this particular Pluto retrograde much different is that Pluto will be aspected by Jupiter, which is also currently retrograde, by what is known as a square. An astrological square differs from an opposition, inasmuch as an opposition entails that two planets are not in harmony with each other, while a square entails tension. Given Jupiter square Pluto makes you want to succeed, and succeed big time. Success, power, and influence are all possible, but without some care, there could be ruthless determination, greed, corruption, obsessive and compulsive behavior, excessive pride, and overestimating resources. These are some of the themes that this Pluto retrograde could manifest within social groups and or social situations. On a lighter note, Jupiter retrograde in itself can promise achieved growth and happiness in a particular area of life that is important to you now. Whatever your hopes for the future may be, this year's Jupiter retrograde is an opportunity to make great leaps and bounds toward living out your dreams. However, with Jupiter retrograde square Pluto retrograde, if your goals are unrealistic, deceitful, or greedy, then disappointment and loss will more than likely follow. Okay guys, with that background information, let's go and get started on your spread. Hey Scorpio, I decided to do your spread first, given Pluto. So let's go ahead and get started. I already pre-shuffled the cards. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede into this reading to provide Scorpio with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay the messages as they're meant to be. All right, Spirit, please release the first card for PROPRIETY. First card for Scorpio for PERMEATION. Scorpio, nothing's popping out. What's going on? Okay. So your first card for PERMEATION is the Ace of Cups. Okay, Spirit, please release the second card for Proposal. the Mother of Cups upright. Right, Spirit, please release the third card for Propriety. Oh, this one flipped, so I'm going to take this one. The Father of Wands in reverse. Okay, release the fourth card, please, for Perception. Okay, all right. This one popped out. The Eight of Cups, upright. Spirit, release the fifth card for Purgation. Justice, upright. All right, the sixth card for Pursuance. Okay, this came out right here. The Nine of Swords in reverse. Okay, go on, Spirit, release. Okay, I didn't get to say it. The seventh card for the Purpose. Judgment, upright. Trying to squeeze on here so you guys can see it. Okay. So for your first card, for the messages attempting to reach your intuition, the Ace of Cups. All right, Scorpio, so I'm starting to pick up that you guys kind of want maybe a new start, or what maybe this Pluto retrograde to kind of bring is just wanting to start new. It can be new love, new health, new joy. Remember, it's a general reading, but just new in general, I feel. Either new people in your life or maybe possibly a new partner. Could be something of the sort. Or I want to say, from looking at the spread, I'm getting maybe a new perspective on things, or maybe develop new approaches to maybe situations. And also, if you do, kind of get into maybe finding a new group of friends or maybe a new group of people, it can maybe put you in different circumstances that are actually better for you. So I want to say that's what I'm getting from here, or from the spread in that card in the Ace of Cups in this particular placement. It's just basically new. So for your second card, for the areas in your life that you need to reflect on, is maybe being more attentive to maybe your family or to the people that you do associate with or socialize with. I'm getting being more attentive to details. Maybe not overly attentive, because that's counterproductive. But maybe be more attentive to, since we also have the Ace of Cups here, be more attentive to maybe the feelings of others. I know I'm kind of picking that up, the feelings part, when I look at this spread here. Be more attentive to how maybe other people feel, or how you make people feel, and vice versa, how others make you feel. I'm also picking up kind of not jumping to conclusions right away or being so impulsive. I'm also getting that. Also, maybe more patience. I want to say that as well. And also, let's try not to lose sometimes our identity with our family. Like in terms of, oh, well, my family's like this, so it makes me like this. Which, yeah, that does have some influence, but don't let that completely say who you are. Because at the end of the day, we do make our own decisions and we do form or have an idea of the person that we want to be or, work towards being. And when you do make that decision as to the person you want to be, that doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. Maybe other people have maybe influenced you to maybe be like that, or maybe other people have caused you to maybe come up with new convictions or with new morals or develop some form of maybe a different kind of ethic. But when you make that decision to be a certain way, that's something that you did and not maybe because of your family. I'm also picking that up as well. Yeah, I want to say it's the feelings, being more patient with other people, because they may have more patience with you, and also not losing your identity through your family. That's what I'm picking up from the Mother of Pentacles here. So for your third position, the hidden truths that command your honesty. Maybe let's not try and be so dominant. Let's not always try and be the protector. It's okay to be at certain times, but I kind of feel like maybe sometimes, Scorpio, that you kind of get involved in certain situations because you kind of want to do maybe have your pom-poms out for someone, which is fine, but you're going to have to discern what, when and how much to give and how much to, when you need to pull back. I want to say those are the lessons I'm getting from this card right here. Yeah, I want to say that's about it. Yeah, not being so impulsive to maybe lash out right away. And also for other people. Okay, so for your fourth card, which is the dark sides of your personality being highlighted, I want to say, Scorpio, that maybe sometimes we need to move on. Now, I know sometimes that's tough, especially, when other people are involved or when your family is involved. But we need to just have to decide for ourselves, Scorpio, that we need to just move on in certain, upon certain instances or certain circumstances that maybe don't serve you any longer. It could be maybe the people that you're involved with. And also the new start has a lot to also do with moving on. Because like I say, whenever you move forward, you can't take everyone with you, nor are you really meant to. Because sometimes when we choose to stay in certain situations, we may develop a physical illness. Now, I'm not saying something that's, so detrimental, but we become sometimes so involved or maybe so invested that we end up manifesting things in our lives that kind of bleeds off into our lives. And then we end up having our own situations that are going on. And then we're so busy fighting other people's battles that we're too exhausted to fight ours when they come up. So I want to say that's pretty much what I'm getting from the Eight of Cups here. So for your fifth position, for the best method in ridding the negativity, Justice came up. Now when I see this card here in this position, I want to say it has a lot to do with the letting go. That you have to decide and discern when you need to let go and actually who deserves to be defended and who actually puts themselves in an untenable situation to where they cannot be defended. And I know that sometimes that is tough, given, emotional maybe attachments to people or to certain situations, but we're going to have to be strong and we're going to have to actually know what the truth is and who deserves what. And because the truth always shines through, guys. And Also, I don't know why I'm picking up too, not holding on to other people's secrets. Now, sometimes we need to, yes. But at the same time, when you hold on to people's secrets, you play a part in it. Now, we can't control what people maybe sometimes say to us out of the blue, but we can choose to stop the conversation. That's one thing I'm picking up on. Also, maybe not putting your foot down, or maybe sticking up for someone that you know was wrong in a certain situation. Now, you may not want to maybe put them in harm's way, maybe if you need to, or put them in harm's way by admitting something, but you don't need to admit anything. Just don't put yourself in a situation or a circumstance where you would need to do that. And also maybe expressing to other people the things that have happened to you, given that it's purgation or it's in that position. Because when we speak to people about the things that have happened to us, it's a form of release. And then therefore, when we speak to them, it's no longer maybe a secret or something that's kept in private with us. But sometimes we all have certain things that we can't say to people, which is, that's merited. It's warranted for sure. But once again, we're going to have to decide if it's okay to say it to someone or to confide in someone. Because especially if you have like a Scorpio moon, I have two siblings that have that they both have Scorpio moons. And I'm not saying this is in, it goes for all Scorpio moons, but around situations where there is tension or there's maybe unresolved issues, I tend to notice that Scorpio moons, now I'm going to use the word plot, but I'm not going to say plot like to kill someone or plot to like, put them in harm's way. But I feel like a lot of the time Scorpio moons, they ruminate over the situations that have happened, and they plot in terms of like, oh, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that for this person. And if they want, if they do have a spiteful spirit, then they'll plot on how to get back at them, which is, it's okay to be upset at that person or be upset at the circumstance or the situation, but we can't plot like that, because when we plot, we end up remembering and then we ruminate over it. And what ends up happening is we carry that around with us. And it's a huge burden to carry around like that, or something of the sort with yourself. Because forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's really for you. That's how you give yourself the chance to move forward and to move on. And when that person sees you not being bothered and how strong you were for actually moving on, I'm not saying it's going to upset them, but they may say, why isn't this affecting them the way that it's supposed to or how I planned? And then therefore, they'll realize how strong you are, and then who really wins it in the end? I mean, I hate to say winning and losing, but you really win in the end because you're not ruminating over it anymore and you moved on. And maybe you can be, or set the example for that other person. Now for your sixth card, the transitions and adjustments ahead, I'm picking up on no more of the worry, Scorpio. Because with honesty comes not having to worry about certain things. Not having to worry about making sure that your lies match up. Not calling you a liar, I'm just saying. Making sure that everything is supposed to always go how it's supposed to go. Or, you understand what I'm saying? Like, try and making everything coincide with each other. And also the self battles. Since it is in reverse, it means that you guys are coming out of a period of that. So it's important to have thoughts of, benign thoughts about yourself. And don't let certain situations hinder you from moving on and just beating yourself up over things you can't change. Now, we can't change what happened or what's going on, but we can readjust our approach to them. So I feel like they're going to be kind of, you may have transitions and adjustments in terms of how you view yourself. Because how you view yourself, you set a certain demeanor for yourself. And people end up picking up on things like that. And then they can misconstrue who you are. And also in terms of how you portray yourself. And then you'll start to maybe become somewhat, kind of, it's like portraying a false image almost. And it has to do with it has to do with going around the issue and not going through it. You can never go around an issue because it's always going to surface. And then when certain circumstances arise where you maybe are the victim in a situation, you may look like, like maybe you're trying to be the victor of it, and it throws everything off. And then therefore how you view yourself and then how others view you, it just doesn't, it doesn't coincide with each other, and then you just push yourself that much further into, self battles and trying to beat yourself up over those things. And then you're beating yourself up over things that aren't even true. So it's just always important, and that's what I'm getting from it, is to not beat yourself up over things. We just need to sometimes just move on from them. So in your 7th position for the destination that awaits this retrograde is forgiveness and also seeking the truth. Going back to what I said about forgiving, it's for yourself. So you just move on and move forward. This really is so exhausting to be upset and to stay upset. Now, it's a little bit impossible to move on from certain situations. There's always a little margin of error and the exception. But just overall in general, it's, forgiveness, I'm picking up on that. And seeking the truth especially. Because when we seek the truth and we finally know the truth, that's when we can decide what's fair and what's not. And who deserves what, in a sense. And then we can then readjust our approach, because it's the truth stems from any circumstance. Because even if we want to readjust our approach, we need to know what happened in order to successfully do that. All right, Scorpio, that's what I'm picking up from your Pluto retrograde spread. Just remember to stay calm. A lot of planets are going retrograde this month, and it's crazy. Well, not this month, but this year, I should say. I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy. But yeah, let's be firm in our convictions, and let's hang in there. Okay, Scorpio? Hope you enjoyed your spread for the Pluto retrograde.